Good morning, Mets fans, and welcome to a number 300 edition of Driving with Mr. Met. I am Driving with Mr. Met, and no, this is not the 300th video that I've made. It is not. No, it is not the 300th win of Matt Harvey's career. No, it has nothing to do with the number 300 outside of Curtis Granderson and his history-making clutch home run last night, the 300th of his career, to lead the Mets into a big inning and a victory, series victory, over the Chicago Cubs. Now, we're Mets fans, so we know it's not all sunshine and lollipops and rainbows and butterflies. So while the Mets got a win, while Granderson made his historic mark with the 300th home run of his career, while Lucas Duda continued to be a clutch player, there's still some gloom hanging over the team today. Neil Walker left the game early last night with an injury. Looked like a hamstring or a quad, sort of like upper thigh area reaching toward the back of his upper thigh. Who knows? So now the middle infield is more than likely going to be on the disabled list at the same time. And of course this means that Amed Rosario will finally get the call. No. No, during the game last night, they announced that Gavin Citi, or however the hell you pronounce his name, was scratched from the Vegas lineup and would more than likely be on the red eye to New York. I didn't check to see if that actually happened, but that's what I predicted actually last night. As soon as I saw Walker go down, one of my friends, Mike Stauffer, actually said, this clears the way, right? It's time for Rosario. And I'm like, yeah, right, they'll probably call up Gavin Citi, and look what's happened. So yes, I believe that it'll be Citi taking Walker's place, assuming of course that the MRI he gets today is it requires a DL trip. Of course it could be nothing and he could be fine and be in the lineup tonight. Who knows? So that was number one concern. Number two concern was Matt Harvey. Harvey threw 4 innings and his velocity was alarmingly low. Now, I'm not a fan of getting overworked and overhyped about a velocity issue, and velocity being like the most important thing. In fact, I think it's become to be made too important these days with baseball. It feels like if someone isn't throwing 100 miles an hour, they're not good, and it's just not true. If you look at historically, a lot of great pitchers have done really well without the ability or the need to throw 100 miles an hour. So I don't buy that, but in any event, Harvey's velocity was down. He lasted only 4 innings, and I mean, as he was throwing after the first inning, he looked pretty good. I mean, he looked as though he was fooling batters. He looked as though his pitches were moving. The velocity just wasn't there. So I think he was capping out at like 91, and that was a concern. So I wasn't that worried at the time until they pulled him for a pinch hitter, and I'm like, holy shit, this is really happening. There's something wrong with him. Perfect. And after the game, Harvey's quote was something about, "I've never felt more fatigued." And that's got to be extremely alarming because, of course, last year he dealt with the thoracic outlet syndrome and he had the surgery to repair it. And so there's a lot of doom and gloom hanging over right now. And hopefully Harvey's okay. Hopefully it's just a little period of dead arm. With the return of Matz and Lugo, Harvey could not have picked a better time to have this happen. Of course, it would have been great if it didn't happen at all, but he couldn't have picked a better time to have it happen with Matz and Lugo now back into the fold. So hopefully Harvey only needs to miss 1 start. He doesn't need to go on the DL, but if he does, I think the team has enough depth at this point in the rotation to survive 1 or 2 turns without Matt. So tonight, the Mets start a 4-game, an extremely important 4-game series with the dreaded and hated Washington Nationals. Sorry to my cousin Ryan Malloy, who is sadly a Washington Nationals fan. He was an Expos fan before that, so it isn't as though he just picked up the Nats when they started in DC. But I hate the Nats. Everybody knows that I hate the Nats. I want them to be terrible again. That's where they should be. But they're just not. They're a really good team, and they're coming in for 4 games tonight. It's Gio Gonzalez on the mound. Gio has been a remarkable pitcher at Citi Field. He's pitched so well there. It's a tall task for the Mets to defeat Gio, but hopefully they can, and hopefully Robert Gsellman can keep the good things rolling for himself. He's had 3 consecutive really good starts, and hopefully tonight marks number 4. So I will be back tomorrow to recap tonight's game. Hopefully it's a victory, and if it's a loss, hopefully it's not a deflating loss, like, you know, a 23-run loss or something like that. I believe that was the last time the Mets played the Nationals. So look, I mean, the bar is set very low to get better than the last time the Mets and Nats played. So again, hopefully we'll have good things to say tomorrow morning. So I appreciate your watching the video. If you're not already following me on Twitter, please do so at Mr_Met. And as always, let's go Mets.